Good morning, Tyra, Monica. Good to see you guys.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Are you frustrated, Tyra? I feel your pain.
I'm tired.
Are you?
Yeah.
I get you.
And as my 3-year-old sister says, this sucks.
She's pretty intuitive for being so young.
Her birthday is the 30th.
Of October?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, does she love Halloween?
My mom was hoping that she was born on Halloween, but then my mom woke up for work, and she's like, well, I guess I'm not going to work today, and woke us up. And then my other sister, she's 2.
Oh.
Well, now she's 3. Her birthday's October 3rd, so they're Irish twins because they're the same age for 27 days.
Oh my goodness. That is crazy. So you are really a big sister to them.
Yes, I am. And I have a 13-year-old.
So I would say you're kind of more like, not that your mom's not their mom, but that you're kind of like a mother figure to them.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if you've been called mom a few times.
A couple of times, but then they go, wait, no, tie.
Oh, goodness. Well, they are lucky to have you. All right, so as always, we're going to start with that warm-up. So pull that up, and I'm just going to wait one more minute and just see how many people we can get coming in here. I'm kind of in the middle of the living room, so I'm having some distractions at times. I hope it doesn't distract you, because I have 3 children, and 2 of them live here, and I got kicked out of my basement today, so I'm kind of in the mainstream, if you will. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start that warm up. So have that on your screen. You will be turning those in today, but as I've asked before, can you guys just make sure that you have your periods, your capitals, and your complete sentences? If you just wrote one-word answers, I would suggest instead of turning them in and wasting both of our time, just take the extra time that's needed, do them right, get them turned in. I don't ever take late points on those. So just do them correctly, and then I don't have to play tug of war with you about add this period and you did, and oh boy, it's a hot mess. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and then you can start on that warm up. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, start. 2 minutes, and turn them in when you're done, please.
What do you mean by that question?
Okay,
like
so
the cases?
Say that one more time.
Like the cases?
You know how you worked on the different things like salmonella, botulism? Yes. Like, what did you learn about that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just 2 things you learned, whether it be about salmonella, botulism. What was another one? Why is this not coming to me? Sugar.
Botulism or whatever.
What's that?
Wasn't one like botulism or whatever?
Botulism, yep. Listeria, salmonella, streculitis, or staphylococcus is what I wanted to say. Or you call it staph. E. coli, Clostridium, and Campylobacter. Crazy names. You always wonder how they came up with the names of these things.
For goodness sake.
About 5 seconds. Okay. Okay, so some of you were coming in on us late here. So what we're doing is we just did the warm up, and I want you to turn it in, but make sure you have caps and ends, complete sentences. Okay? Sound good? Okay, give me one. Whole. Volume. Oh, geez. Volume on that. I'm yelling at my kid. Okay. Let's pull up the, I'm going to pull up your notes from the webquest, and I'm going to read off some things, and I want you to tell me what FBI I'm referring to. Okay, let's see if you can figure it out. Okay, so this one has to do with vomiting, diarrhea, blurred vision, double vision, difficulty in swallowing, muscle weakness. And then the food sources that this comes from is improper canning, especially when you can at home, fermented fish, baked potatoes in aluminum foil. What FBI am I speaking of? Anybody? If you look at your webquest, it's either botulism, salmonella, E. coli, staph, listeria, the Labacter, and then the Clostridium.
Botulism?
Thank you, Tyra. Botulism is correct. Okay, what am I talking about when I say this? Diarrhea, cramps, fever, vomiting. Diarrhea may be bloody. You get this from raw and uncooked poultry, unpasteurized milk, and contaminated water.
Salmonella poisoning, maybe?
No, not okay. So we have, you guys gave two. One of the answers was 3, so it's one of the other 4. What's another one? Diarrhea, cramps, fever, vomiting. Diarrhea may be bloody. Raw, uncooked poultry, unpasteurized milk, and contaminated water. I could see, I wasn't sure. One of you said E. coli, and I can see why you would say that, but that's not the one.
It's like Campylobacter, or however you say that.
Yeah, so whenever I need that being said, Killian, I'm calling on you to pronounce it.
Okay.
Okay. This one has to do with watery diarrhea, abdominal cramps, some vomiting. Food is water or food contaminated with human feces. What is that one? Your key there is it's in water and
Salmonella?
no, not salmonella.
E. coli?
E. coli. Thank you, Ember. Okay, what about this one? Fever, muscle aches, and nauseousness, diarrhea. Pregnant women may have mild flu-like symptoms. Infection can lead to premature delivery, and the elderly can cause possibly bacterium or meningitis. And then food sources would be unpasteurized milk, soft cheese made with unpasteurized milk, ready to eat deli meat.
Listeria.
Thank you, Rodrigo. What about diarrhea, fever, abdominal cramps, vomiting? Foods would be eggs, poultry, meat, unpasteurized milk or juice, cheese, contaminated raw fruit, and veggies.
Salmonella.
Yes, I was waiting for Tyra to say salmonella. That's correct, all of you. Good job. And the last one, a sudden onset of severe nauseousness, vomiting, abdominal cramps, diarrhea, fever, and it's found in unrefrigerated or improperly refrigerated meats, potatoes, and egg salad, cream pastries. There was only one left that we didn't cover. Oh, I'm
Staff.
Staph. Yep. Staphylococcus is how you say that. Yep. Okay. So, hopefully you got your work done and got it turned in. Remember, it was a non-copy paste document. So I just needed you to, go to the information, look at it, put a couple, 2 or 3 items in the box, and then go on to the next one. Okay. So hopefully you guys got that done, because now we're going to lead into the next assignment. I have put a bunch of assignments on Google Classroom, but I'm trying to pace them out. So if looking at that floors you and you're very overwhelmed at this point, I did space them. So always check the deadline, because each time we meet, I'm going to assign one. But if some people like to work ahead of the game, and that's totally up to you. That's why one of the reasons I put them in. But anyway, okay, so let me hold on. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to do next. I'm going to show you, remember we were talking about, I thought I talked about Chipotle with this class. And so we're going to talk, I'm going to show you the video on Chipotle. And this is all in Google Classroom. As you can see, I'm just kind of weeding through. These are the 4 assignments that I put in there. This is the one that was due to, no, I'm sorry. This is the one we're going to work on today. So let me go back to our website. And I'm going to start with the video. And remember, when I show the video, I have to jump out of the present mode, because I have to go into a different mode to be able to show it to you. So let me do that super quick. Bada bada boom. Tyra, can you see my screen with the Chipotle? Is Tyra still in here? Oh, yeah, she is. Can you see?
It's showing the Chipotle thing, yeah.
It is? Okay. Rodrigo, if you can't hear it, will you unmic and tell me? Because I almost think the audio will come better if I mute myself. So I'm going to try that this time, but then I wouldn't be able to ask you if you can hear it. So
All right,
if you can't hear it, just kind of chime in that the volume isn't working.
Okay.
Proclaimed itself the healthy alternative to traditional fast food, and it rode that message all the way to high profits. Lately, the company has found itself on the defensive for making hundreds of people sick and losing millions in sales. Here's how it all happened, but you might want to finish your burrito first. Chipotle's problems started back in July in Washington state. 5 people got sick with E. coli after eating at a Seattle store. It only made news in the local paper, but Chipotle became a national story when bad tomatoes in Minnesota stores infected 81 people with salmonella in August.
Linked to a salmonella outbreak here in Minnesota.
In response, Chipotle switched suppliers. About the same time in California, Chipotle told the local health department that 17 employees were sick with norovirus, an especially nasty intestinal bug. 234 people caught the virus. At this point, the company's top brass stayed relatively mum. These problems, though serious, appeared to be isolated, and Chipotle's executives may have thought they had them under control. That changed when a separate outbreak straddled state lines in late October.
As Chipotle stock fell today on news that it was temporarily closing dozens of stores in reaction to an E. coli scare.
Cue the CDC. The agency launched a multi-state investigation to pinpoint the source after Washington and Oregon linked dozens of illnesses to several Chipotle stores there. The company closed all 43 restaurants in the two states, and the CEO finally spoke.
I'm sorry for the people who got sick. They're having a tough time.
A steady parade of updates trickled out from the CDC, reminding customers nationwide of the company's woes. By December, 11 states had reported 60 cases of E. coli. Just as the company was trying to manage the fallout, norovirus struck again. 141 students at Boston College got sick, including an entire basketball team. In total, about 500 people became ill after eating at Chipotle in the second half of 2015. Chipotle caught a break in February when the CDC officially declared the multi-state E. coli outbreak over.
Unfortunately, we were unable to find anything that would have been in common between those restaurants.
For most companies, that's where the story would end. But not for Chipotle. The Department of Justice is now investigating the company for possible criminal activity in connection to food safety. Now, it'll be months before we get any answers on those questions. In the meantime, the company hopes that customers will have the stomach to come back.
Unmute myself. So can you guys see my full screen, or is it just a small little picture? Rodrigo, you seem to be one that talks to me.
We can see all of
Is
it,
it-
I think. Yeah.
Is it a big screen or small?
Big.
Oh, cool.
It shows up to the part where it says, "I need for you to gather information about all criminal suspects by completing the
Okay.
information chart below."
All right, got it. Thank you. Okay, so this was what we did the other day right here, okay? And now we're gonna go on to the next step. And I'm gonna go through 2 steps with you, and then we'll talk about the timeline of when things are due. So this is your next worksheet. It says, now carefully read through your chosen case files and organize your clues and essential information using the following chart. Make sure that you take detailed notes from the case files and do not leave out any important facts. However, not all information will be important information that you receive from the interview. So what you're going to do is, this sheet is in Google Drive. You have to open it just like not Google Drive, I'm sorry, Google Classroom. You have to open it in the same way you open the other document. Remember, you're going to go to open with Google Doc, and then you can manipulate it. And then what you have to do is go back to step 1. So watch me do that. I'm going to have to go back 1. Oh, the tasks, that's what they are, sorry. You want to go to tasks. Maybe not. Oh, no. It's step 4. Okay, so you want to go to this picture. If it'll let me, I guess it won't let me. Okay, well, it's the next slide anyway. Right here. Okay. So, these are your case studies. So remember, the directions are that you have to pick 3. So you can do case number 1 with Karen. You could do case number 2 with Melissa. You could do Tony, case 3, Shane, case 4, Eric, case 5, Gary, case 6, or Allison, case 7, okay? But you have to do 3 of them. So all your information is here. You just have to use the worksheet to go back and write down all the facts, okay? So I will take questions on that right now. Is there anyone that doesn't understand what they need to do? Because if you look at this, so you'd put case number 2, let's say, the victim's name. You'd write down the food that was ordered, what you learned from the interview. If the cook was interviewed, what did he say? And then over here, you have to tell me what you think is doing it. Salmonella, E. coli, the botulism, the staph. What do you, after looking at all the evidence, believe the clues have led you to this assumption? Okay, so is there anyone that needs further instruction? You can put a 1 in the chat and I will look to see if there's anything there. And then Tyra, if you want to watch the video, you can always do that at home. It's right in the website there. It's in the introduction if you want to look, if you want to watch the video. But yeah, if you think going out and coming back in is going to help you out, please do so. Okay. So nobody has questions on that part. You're good. Okay. Here is the next part, and I'm going to look at when this one's due because I can't remember. So the CSI felon, or wait a minute, the clue organization form, which I just talked about, that one is due October 12th, which I believe is Monday, and it's right before class starts at 12 o'clock, okay? And then this other part I'm going to talk to you about today is going to be due on the 14th, okay? So let me go talk to you about that. So that one is step 4. Okay, so if you get to this part today, it says using your criminal suspect sheet and the information you obtain from the investigating your case and interviewing the victims and other involved parties, you're going to create a presentation that addresses all of your chosen cases that states, I want to know who committed the crime. So you might do a slide that says bacterium, and then a second slide telling me why it happened, and then a third slide that tells me how it could be prevented. And so you would have to do, if you're going to do 3 slides for each case, then you would need 9 slides. Okay, you could divide one slide up into like who committed the crime, what happened, and how it could be prevented, and then you'd only do 3 slides. So it really depends, like, you know, what you want there. But there are some things you need to think about. So you can use Prezi, Powtoon, SlideShare, Glogster, or you can use just PowerPoint or Google Slides are fine. But it also needs to include relevant pictures throughout the presentation, at least 3, and click and you know, have that be part of that. Okay, so that's the second part, not due until I believe, I think, didn't I say the 14th? And I think that's Wednesday. I don't know, I gotta check my calendar here. So the 14th, it'd be Wednesday, okay? So step number 3 is due Tuesday. This right here. Oh, sugars. Step number 3 is due Monday, right here. And then step number 4 is due Wednesday. But, you know, if you're working on this, you know, once you get done with one, you might go right into the other, okay? So I am going to hand you this assignment just like I've done in the past. And you are going to stay right here and you're going to work on it till class is done today. I'm going to sit here and be your advisor if you have questions or you want some clarification or you just jumped in and you're like, what the heck are we doing? But I want you to work on this in class, okay? So put a question in the chat if you have one, or unmic yourself so I can address something that you have a question about. Otherwise, I need you to get started. I also put in the chapter review sheet for the test. So some people might want to get a jump on that if they want to look things over this weekend and kind of prepare for the assessment, which will be next Thursday. So I wanted to throw that out there as quick as I could so you guys could get started on that if you needed and wanted to. So no one has any questions and we're good? Please tell me I'm not mic'd. Okay, good. You're just all so quiet. Can someone give me a 1 in the chat that you understand what I just said? Can I get somebody to respond that way? Thank you, Rodrigo. I appreciate you responding.
The clue organization form, do we only put the 3 on there, or do we put all those on there?
You only have to do 3 of them.
Okay, I didn't know if you said for that or the presentation.
If you wanted extra credit, you could do more if you wanted, but the requirement is 3.
Okay.
And remember, I would not prefer a copy paste job. Look at it, read it. It's almost like you're a detective and you're writing down the information that people are telling you. Okay, but you're doing it on that document. So I want original work. I don't want the original work from Google. I want your original work. You can make that happen. That'd be great. Okay, thanks, Connor. Seriously, if you need help or guidance, you can always Andrew Hudson, do you need to know what's happening? Okay, I'm going to talk to Andrew, so if my talking's bothering you, maybe turn the volume down a little bit. Andrew, if you, let me present my screen to you. Hold on one second. Okay, so in Google Classroom, I'm going to show you that first, I guess. Okay, so let me get this to flash up. Okay, so the last time we met, we did CSI Food Felons, okay, which was this worksheet, and we used this website, okay? So the next assignment is going to be called Clues Organization Form and also Presentation Criminal Suspects, but just take note of deadlines. So I'm going to go into the website and I'm going to start with the assignment for today. So this is your assignment and you have to get this information all from this section. Let me show it to you. It's the very, I think it's actually, hold on, my computer's running slow. Okay, so you get all the information that goes on that chart from this spot, okay? And there's 7 cases. You only have to do 3 of them. So you pick any 3 you want out of the 7, and you're going to fill out the document that asks for all the information. And I believe it is in step 4. Okay, so this is where you put all that information and you only need to do 3. When you get to this box where it talks about CSI observation clues, this is where you're going to tell me what you think caused the illness. Botulism, salmonella, staph, botulism. Okay. Question?
Miss Sapka,
Yes.
I have a question.
I would love to hear it.
So on the document, it says cook interview. Where can you find those?
Okay, so I believe those are in where, let me see if I can go back to it. I can't seem to ever get to the right section here. I think it's back one more. Okay, back one more. 1 second. Let's start with step 2. Okay, I think, is it after this? Hold on. Good Lord. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me go back one. Goodness sakes. Allie, hang tight. I'm getting there. One more, and then I will be there. Okay, thank God. All right. So if you look here, sometimes they'll be in here or even on the blue. They'll talk about the cook says this, like maybe they didn't wear gloves or something like that. But that's where I found them. Not all cooks are interviewed though. So if you have a cook that's interviewed, then they should, they should have something there. Like right here, it says the kitchen cook stated that he had used gravy from the previous day because they had so much left over. But on the previous one that I did, I don't think the cook commented. So if there is no cook comment, then obviously you can't put one, right? Anyway, so hopefully that answered your question, is what I'm hoping for. Okay, so back to Andrew. Okay, so back to Andrew. You are welcome. So then once you get done with your chart, which I just kind of showed you and Nolly kind of helped out, kind of trying to figure something out on her end, but was helpful to show you, is that you're going to go into step 5. And step 5 is where you actually are going to do a PowerPoint. What I would do is a PowerPoint. That's just me personally. But On each slide, you're going to answer each question, or you can do one slide, but make sure all these questions are answered. And then down here, they want you to make sure that you have at least 3 pictures. I forgot to show everyone this. There is an evaluation section. So that section with the PowerPoint is 24 points. So if you want to hit 4s, then you got to have all these variables, okay? If you don't hit 4s, then you're, figure out how to get the 3 or a 2 or whatever, okay? So there's that. And then let's see. So there is a section for extra credit here too if you wanted the bonus. Okay. So Andrew, can you tell me yes or no if you understand what I just went over? Or put it in the chat that yes, you understand. Okay, thank you. If anybody else has a question or they just got here, let me know and I can try to explain it further. But we're working on it together right here, right now.
Miss Zepka,
Yes, dear.
I have a question. So I'm confused. For the observation clues and the victim interview, is the victim interview the blue square?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you are welcome.
Miss Zepka.
Yes, Connor.
I gotta leave for my physical therapy appointment.
Okay. Just make sure you get that stuff done and check the deadlines because the first worksheet is due Monday, and then the second PowerPoint, whatever, Google Slide is due Wednesday. Yeah,
All right.
Wednesday. I think, right?
All right.
Today's Wednesday? Yes. Okay.
All right.
Bye, Connor.
See ya.
Bye.
You said we only had to do 3 of these?
Yeah, are you going crazy on them?
Okay, yeah, kinda.
Okay, well, you don't have to delete anything. I can give you some extra credit for that.
Okay.
You're just an overachiever, Monica.
Miss Zepka, I have a question.
I am ready. Go ahead.
All right, so you're gonna hear my sisters. I'm sorry.
I love it. Keep them talking.
When it says at the cook interview, there is a cook interview, but do you still put it down as the CSI observation?
Can you say that one more time?
When there's the additional clues and they interviewed the cook, do we still have to put the additional clues on the CSI observation?
You mean where it says CSI observation clues? That's where you're gonna put. That's where you're gonna put what you think is doing the cause this problem, whether it be botulism, E. coli, salmonella. That's what you, as a criminal investigator, you're basically looking at the clues, and your observation leads you to believe that the criminal is botulism or E. coli or whatever.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. All right, Connor, are you ready for me to explain this? Okay. Those that don't want to hear me talk, maybe turn the volume down, because here we go again. But some people have some internet problems, and we have to just be able to help out when we can. All right. So Connor, and anybody else that wants a recap. In Google Classroom, I'm in the wrong class. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So in Google Classroom, I put in a bunch of assignments, but I do have deadlines on all of them differently. So just don't panic, but okay. So this is what we did yesterday. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is CSI food felons. So you have to click on the website. And the food felons are the ones that, I'll show them to you. Hold on. These are all the victims that have been stricken by some type of FBI, okay, foodborne illness. The blue tends to be the person that's sick. This is what they ordered, and this is their notes that were taken by the CSI. And then these are things that are additional, okay? They didn't do a great background on that, but read it the best you can. Anyway, and then what you're going to do today is you're going to go to the next step 3. And there's a document there, right here, okay? And what you're going to do is use, whoopsie, did I click on something I shouldn't have? Okay. I guess I can show you here, but okay. So like each person, there's a case number. They have a name. You need to write down what they ordered. You need to write down what they said. And then sometimes there's a cook interview and sometimes there's not. So if the cook was interviewed, put down what he said. And if there was no cook interview, you can put NA, which means not applicable. And then over here is, because you're a criminal investigator, you are going to put what criminal, after your observation, caused the problem, whether it be botulism, salmonella, E. coli, whatever. Okay, so as a CSI criminal investigator, you have decided after observing all the clues what is doing all the killing, okay, or harming or whatever. Okay, so that's what you have to do. You only have to do 3. You can do more if you want. We got an overachiever in Monica, but you only have to do 3 of these. I know there's more, but if you, that's for people that want to go above and beyond, but you are only required to do 3, okay? Then the next thing, so that is due Monday before class. Now, I did talk about this next piece because I know some people like to work ahead, or at least like to know what's coming. So on Monday, after we talk about, you know, the case file and, you know, who's doing all the killing, I'm going to assign the PowerPoint, or you can use Prezi, Powtoons, whatever you want to use. But basically what you're now going to do is answer these questions for each person that got hurt or harmed. So you have to tell me who committed the crime, because not every FBI, you know, like salmonella didn't do all of this. It was something else that maybe is the suspect, okay? So who you think committed the crime, why did it happen, and then how could it have been prevented? So I was saying that you could do 3 slides, 1 with each question, or you can do 1 slide making sure that each question is addressed, and that way you would have 3. And you also have to include pictures, okay? So look here. There's also an evaluation. So if you want to shoot for the stars and get 100%, then you want to make sure all these variables are there. And if you want extra credit, there's a bonus right here if you want that, okay? This project is not due until the Wednesday, okay? And then Wednesday we'll talk about, you know, we'll have some people present their Google slides and show us what they came up with, okay? So hopefully that helped. If you do have other questions, please drop them in the chat, or you can unmic and you can just ask me. Hopefully you heard me and I'm not like breaking up and causing you to be more frustrated than you probably already are right now. So just let me know. We do have 3 minutes that remain in the class. Does anybody have any further questions for me? Or anything I can do to help out? Okay. Remember, this is due Monday, and you probably could have finished it in the time that you have and not have any homework from Zebka. Unless you choose to do the PowerPoint ahead of time, that's totally up to you. I just wanted you to know what's coming So if you decided to, Monica, you could get a head start. Okay. So Connor, the whole thing is a project. I'm calling the whole thing a project, but let me go in and let me just see how okay, so the clues organization form, yeah, that's the form. And then yes, presentation, criminal suspect. I guess if you wanted to call that the project, you could, but that's the PowerPoint or the Google Slides. I hope that makes sense. You're welcome. We got less than 1 minute left, so unless you guys have something for me, you're good to go. Drop me a line and email if you have further questions or concerns. I'm here to help, so reach out. Good to talk to you today, Tyra.